Alright, so we're going to do the at-home haircut during the coronavirus quarantine. Got a basic wall clipper, and we start with number 1, 3mm attachment with the trim adjustment as low as it'll go, so it'll cut as close to the head as possible. That'll be important for later when you fade it in. So we're going to start with the number 1, and I like to start and kind of get a little spot on this side where I kind of know I've gone to that spot before, and basically getting that line straight to start. And once you kind of have it straight, just keep going along that same side. You'll see a little better when I get to the other side. I'm going to kind of go until I can't really see anymore. So I have kind of a pretty straight line there. So then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, using this kind of as a reference of how far up to go, so it's about the same. Once you get to the end, it's not going to matter too much if it's exactly perfect, because you're going to fade it in anyways. So, alright, so get this same line. And another thing that I'm doing is when I'm getting to that line, is I'm kind of just scooping like this that last minute, and that'll kind of help with the fading in it later. So now I'm kind of at a spot where I really can't see the back anymore. So what I actually do here is I kind of listen to it and use my hand to kind of feel it. And I want to get it to about that same area, that same height. I'm just using my left hand to kind of feel that it's pretty close, and if it's too low, that's better right now. You wouldn't want to go too high. You can see the sides are about the same height, and then I'm just making sure on the back I'm going like this to kind of feel that it doesn't go way up or way down. If it goes up and down a little bit, you can fade that in. So I kind of feel like that's pretty close. So go on to step number 2, which is I use the number 2. And I'm gonna start and I'm gonna go just kind of straight up. Kind of at the top. Flaring it out with my hand like I was on that other one. Normally I do this every 2 weeks, but I don't really know what day it is anymore, so it's probably been about 2 weeks. I like to do it about every 2 weeks so I can kind of see the lines that were there. So when I do this, I'm kind of just going straight up, not going over the top of my head. And I'll take a number 3 and just kind of hit the very top of that. Only right on the edge. Just kind of go in a little bit. I guess it's kind of like fading that 2 into the top. I think I used to scissor cut the top, but it's just a lot faster to do it this way. And it's pretty hot in Florida, so I need it short. So now we're gonna put on the 1.5. Remember I did the 1 to here and I did the 2 straight up. So I'm gonna start another line with the 1.5. About an inch higher than where that first line was. Maybe 1.5 inches or so. Doesn't really matter too much because you're gonna fade that all together anyways. So. And then when I get to the back, I'm listening and doing just about an inch higher than it was. All right, so now you can see you can still see some lines and you can see some, there's ridges there and there's another ridge here. So you gotta fade that. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the adjustment on the side, you're gonna trim that all the way out. So with that 1.5 still on, I'm gonna hit the top of that line just a little bit and kind of, like I said, flaring that hand out. So it kind of blends into the other one. If you just go and stop, then you get this line and you can't really get that out. So you gotta kind of so you can hear there wasn't really much cutting, it was just very little. So now going back to get that first line out and put that 1 back on and then trim it all the way out. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna kind of just go over that, just that one little part. And I'm pushing pretty hard to make sure that I'm really getting it close. can see the line just go right away. Then in the back, I'm listening. I'm just hitting the area a little bit. It's just like here, when you can hear it just a little bit. Okay, and you can see that pretty much no line, right? So I'm just gonna do the top. Like I said, sometimes I scissor cut the top, sometimes I let the top grow a little bit longer, but this is basically what I do most of the time, is I use a 7. I used to use a 5, it was just way too short. I mean, 7 is still pretty short, but I like it short, it's hot. So I can still do a little something with gel, and in a week or two, it's not going to be that long. Kind of shake off some of those hairs, go the other way. So pretty short, pretty much buzzed. And then what I would do is I would take this trimmer, and you could use that for just doing around the ears. If you wanted to tape the sides, you could do that. I'm not gonna do all that right now. I do have somebody else do my neckline, because that I just can't see at all. And then, so one thing I forgot to say is, before you do all this, I always take a shower, shampoo and conditioner, usually the day of or right before it, because if you don't, then it really does affect how it cuts. Yeah, the 7 is pretty short. I probably could have went a little bit longer, maybe a higher number, but throw a little gel in there. Got your coronavirus cut. 15 minutes or less.